Sunny is a serial entrepreneur with the vision to improve the well-being of people using art, science, and technologies. How come? What drives you, Sunny?
What drives me? My fundamental belief in life is that life has to be a pursuit of passion. And you have to figure out what gets you up in the morning. And so, before I started my first company, I did 2 jobs, 2.5. I was a consultant on the third one. And a lot of people might not know this, but in both the jobs, I was about fired after 1 year, or almost, saying, my boss said, Sunny, I'll give you a great recommendation. Why don't you go get another job? And I did some soul searching as to why. I'm not a dumb guy. And I realized I was not passionate about the jobs I was doing. At 3 o'clock, I was looking at my watch and saying, when do I go home? And there was nothing exciting waiting at home, not even a dog. So after my soul searching, I realized that my passion was to be an entrepreneur, to be in technology. And of course, there the journey began with my first venture and then I did my second. But that's how I became an entrepreneur. So for me, when you get up in the morning, there has to be a reason why you get up in the morning. And an entrepreneur probably is not one who just starts a company. You can be an entrepreneur no matter what you do, whether you have a company or not, or whether you work in the corporate world or not. So you can be an entrepreneur in any circumstance, in any situation, not just because you have started a company of your own. It has to be a pursuit of passion. That's how I got started.
It's your passion. That's wonderful. So what is the field you concentrate your passion right now?
So I started my first venture about 20 years ago called Edifx. And Edifx is in the business of healthcare, providing enterprise healthcare solutions in the US and now outside the US. And in the first venture, what we were doing basically was we think of the central nervous system for the healthcare system, where all the transactions that are flowing between employers and insurance companies and hospitals, we were managing those transactions through all of these entities. And basically, Edifx is a data company. We process billions of transactions. And what we're doing is taking those transactions, managing them, and then mining those transactions and automating the workflow of those transactions to provide what we call smart applications on top, related to population health and administrative simplification, operational efficiency, and whatnot. That was my first venture. I started on my credit cards. I took about 18, 20 credit cards. I said, if American can survive on credit, why can't I? And so that's how the genesis of Edifx took place. Now, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, as I looked in the US healthcare system, I found that it was basically a disease management system. The US spends north of $3 trillion, going to $4 trillion, on a very simple paradigm that if you fall sick, they'll pump you with chemicals or put you under the knife. That's where we spend $3+ trillion. It didn't make any sense to me. Costs were going up, quality was going down, and I knew that this is not the right way to take care of people. It's not a healthcare system, it's a disease management system. So in my mind, I kept formulating what is the right thing to do vis-a-vis taking care of people's health. I said, it's just not health, it's their well-being. And you have to take a look at it from a holistic perspective, not from a physical perspective or just saying, hey, the physical health good, but from other perspective, whether it's mental or emotional or social and so on and so forth. So I said, how do we look at people leading a very fulfilling and holistic life using all the tools available to humankind? And therefore, the genesis of RoundGlass took place, where we are building a whole bunch of applications. We have invested in companies, we're building our own, bring them all together for providing both online and eventually on-site faculties and applications for overall well-being of every individual in a more customized manner. So every individual in a customized manner is saying, this is what is the right thing for me to lead a fulfilling life, and the solution set or the suite of solutions and applications will enable that. So that's my second venture that I started some time ago, a couple of years ago.
So, Sunny, are you an optimist?
Am I an optimist?
Yes.
So that'll be an understatement. For me, the glass is always full, even if it's half empty or all empty. I've gone through a lot of ups and downs. I'll give you a very brief 30-second synopsis of, imagine this for a second. You are a scrappy entrepreneur. You are $2 million in debt to the IRS. You have defaulted on your 401k payments. You have not paid rent for many, many months. You have missed 4 payrolls. And then 9/11 happens. There was EdFX in 2001. So starting a company on my credit cards, being in the situation in 2001, we had a choice. We could shut the company down, we could declare bankruptcy, or after some soul searching, I said, if we can live for one more day, if there's hope for one more day, let's fight it out. If we really have to be dead, we'll be dead tomorrow, but we'll think about it tomorrow. So today, EdFX is a $100 million company with 30% EBITDA margins. So am I an optimist? Absolutely, yes.
Sunny, we have a very interdisciplinary mix. We have an audience here. We have investors, artists, business people, technology people, politicians, the next panel. What do you expect from this audience? What is a good outcome of your talk here, of your being here? What do you expect from us? What can we do to support you?
Very, very interesting question.
It's a holistic question.
Yeah, no, it's a very good question. I look at, as I see the world evolve, one thing I've realized is what used to be singular topics before, where everything, there's topics that you can do business around and whatnot. The world has evolved where it has to be an interdependence of a lot of faculties, a lot of disciplines coming together to produce solutions. No longer, I believe, solutions will be singular. There will be a plurality of things coming together to provide a solution for somebody. For example, in our well-being or health case also, we're looking at many disciplines, just not modern medicine, to solve the problem of well-being. So we believe, just like Raghav was saying, the confluence of art and science and technology to produce something beautiful. So we believe, at least I believe firmly, that no matter what we do in the world moving forward, the winners will be the ones who can take multiple disciplines, coming them together, making a nice cuisine out of it, and offering a solution that really caters to and tailors to every individual that you sell the solution to. That is the future, I believe. If it's one size fits all, ain't gonna work. If it's a singular approach of a single faculty, a single discipline, I don't think it's gonna work. It'll be a collective body of whatever you do. And therefore, when I look at, you didn't say that, but all these very beautiful people from all of these disciplines, my take is collaborate. Figure out, how can somebody else in another discipline add value to what you're doing? Consume it. Make the next best-selling cuisine. And I think that's where success will lie.
I really encourage you to speak to Sunny after this session. He's a man with many different layers. What is Shanti Samara? What did you do there?
When she said, I'm a man of many layers, you said.
Many different
layers. I said, I have to go see a shrink now to unfold and peel the onion over here. So we, it's, you want to put yourself in life in a position where when you wake up every day, or any choice in front of you, you should be able to say, there's nothing in life I want to do, but there's everything in life I want to do. You should have the choice in front of you, and you make the right choices because you can afford to. You have to put yourself in that position. And it doesn't mean you're financially independent. It has nothing to do with being financially well off. Now, I'm 51. Well, I don't know why I keep telling everybody I'm 51, but I'm doing many, many interesting, Raghav is laughing over here. I'm looking at many, many interesting projects, and this is one of the ones that Steph is mentioning, is there is an artist called Ricky Cage, and he's a Grammy-winning artist, and he produced a CD on the request of Mr. Modi, who is the PM of India, where they produced a CD with 14 Grammy-winning artists to showcase the cause of global warming, and the CD was presented at the G20 summit to Holland from France. And so we have collaborated with Ricky and saying, how about we capture your journey of producing a masterpiece with other masters, 14 other Grammy-winning artists, And the entire journey of the cause, he went to Tiribiti, he did a documentary over there. It appears those islands will submerge in our lifetime because of global warming. And taking the entire journey, capturing it on tape, and then showcasing it to our current generation of kids, teens, and youth, and combine conservation, climate change, music, and these kind of faculties, coming them together and saying, how about we give you this message of global warming and the impact of it? Now, we can talk about it in textbooks. We can have a small documentary about it. But imagine somebody who's traveling this, masters coming together, showcasing real havoc that it's creating, and then talking in front of hundreds and thousands of kids and teens and such. The impact will be very different. And I believe when you look at causes like global warming, it is not just, us saying this is bad and it's going to cause havoc and whatnot. If we can influence the minds of our kids and our teenagers and our youth and showcase them what's wrong with it, they in fact will grow up and change the world. If we just focus on the adults and the seniors, it's like attacking the symptoms. You impact the kids and the young ones, they will change the world for you. We won't have to educate them about that cause. So the whole Ricky Cage experiment is about that, is about capturing the journey and showcasing it to the young ones.
So thank you so much. It's very inspiring. But I have a last question. What means the friendship to Raghav to you?
That question will be better answered after a few drinks. No, so Raghav and I met at Inc. A little while ago, and
Lakshmi's conference. Lakshmi's great conference.
Inc. in India. And we met casually, and we just started talking, building a relationship, and we got to know each other. In the process, we realized we have common aspirations, we have common dreams, we have common values. They're the things that we cherish in our life that are very similar. And Raghav was in a point in his life where he was saying, what does he do next? And Raghav is a person who can do many things, many things. If I had a couple of drinks, I'll be saying something different, but let me just finish my thought for now.
Later on, we will have a couple of drinks.
And so with RoundGlass and what we are doing over there, and Raghav's aspirations, saying, Raghav, why don't you come on board and let's get behind the cause of RoundGlass together with many other good people. So Raghav and us are now collaborating. We are working together on many, many beautiful things related to well-being, related to learning, which I call living and learning, and other very interesting esoteric projects like Ricky Cage's, and another very small project. I think Shantanu is here. Where is Shantanu? I think there he is. Shantanu is a very talented musician from India, has produced fantastic, fantastic music. If you get a chance, do talk to him. And he's now traveling the Himalayas for 100 days, along with a very prolific photographer, capturing and understanding the nature over there, and getting inspired from music and whatnot. And we're doing a similar project with him. We're underwriting it and capturing nature, what India has to offer, music, wildlife, and again, showcasing it to kids. So Raghav and I are collaborating on many such interesting projects. But again, do talk to me after a few drinks tonight. I will give you some very interesting tidbits about it.
Thank you so much. I think I made you curious to find out more about Sunny Singh.
Thank you.